Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to Dreamworks Switch to Life, and in today's video we're going to be talking about all upcoming Dreamworks projects that we know of as of July 2023. We have a lot of news this month, so with that out of the way, let's get started on the video, especially because it includes our first look at 2024. Our first film that we're going to talk about is DreamWorks' 46th film, Gillman Teenage Kraken. And this is actually a really big deal because it releases in theaters today, the day that I'm uploading this on June 30th, 2023. And, well, I am excited for this movie, and next week I do plan on making a review, or maybe the week after that, I don't know. But if you don't want to watch this movie in theaters, you can always wait till it comes to streaming. The ETA is sometime in September it will be released on Peacock, and sometime in January it will be released on Netflix. Our next movie after Gillman is Trolls 3 Band Together, which will not be hitting theaters until November 17th, 2023. I've included a link to the trailer in the description down below. With that out of the way, it's time to move on to the 2024 movies. We don't actually have a trailer for this yet, but our next movie is Kung Fu Panda 4, which will be released on March 8th, 2024. And despite not having a trailer, we do have some plot details for Kung Fu Panda 4. Essentially, Po is going to retire as the Dragon Master and is going to become the new Master of the Valley of Peace, replacing Oogway and becoming his successor. In order to do that, he has to give the title of Dragon Warrior to his own successor, and he finds a promising young student in the form of Shen, a fox who we know very little about, but if I had to guess, she's probably a thief who became a thief because nobody trusts a fox. During this training, however, Po will have to face off against a new enemy known as the Chameleon, and this Chameleon has the power to bring back all of Po's former foes from the first 3 movies, and maybe even from some of the TV shows. Along with this, Kung Fu Panda 4 is actually going to be the start of the Master Trilogy, so that means eventually, not in the near future, but eventually, we are going to get a Kung Fu Panda 5 and 6. To be honest, I can't wait to watch this movie, but we are gonna have to wait. For the past 6 months, I have been theorizing about 2 unnamed DreamWorks movies that have been given release dates, but for some weird reason, those release dates have been taken off of DreamWorks' schedule, and the reason, I think, is because, well, there's some restructuring when it comes to how Universal wants to deliver their movies, or maybe DreamWorks just needs more time on these movies, but whatever the case, I decided that I'm not going to mention them anymore. And now we fast forward to 2025 when we get our first live-action DreamWorks movie. And just so you know, this is not being made by DreamWorks Animation, but instead is just a film based off of one of their properties. And that is the Untitled How to Train Your Dragon live-action film. And to be honest, I'm both looking forward to and dreading this movie because I'm worried about what it will do with the image of the franchise, but I think that they're doing a really good job so far. For one thing, they have the same person who wrote the main How to Train Your Dragon trilogy to be both the writer and director of this new film, and they've announced the cast, which, although I haven't seen a lot of their movies, actually look really good for the characters that they're portraying. I left a link to a video down below in the description discussing my thoughts and opinions, but now we are done with the theatrical movies, so let's move on to the streaming services. Okay, so we're done looking at the theatrical movies, but it turns out Netflix and DreamWorks are working together to create a new film called Orian and the Dark, and it will hit Netflix sometime in 2024. This is our first time hearing about this, and, well, the story is as follows. Orian is a scared little kid who is in elementary school. He is shy, unamusing, and he's harboring a secret crush. But underneath the normal exterior, he is a ball of anxiety with irrational fears of bees, dogs, the ocean, cell phone waves, murderous gutter clowns, and even falling off of cliffs. But of all his fears, the thing he most fears is what confronts him on a nightly basis, the dark. So when the literal embodiment of his worst fear pays a visit, the dark whisks Orion away on a roller coaster ride around the world to prove there is nothing to be afraid of in the night. As the unlikely pair grows closer, Orion must decide if he can learn to accept the unknown, to stop letting fear control his life, and finally embrace the joy of living. You can probably find more information about this movie online, but with that out of the way, that is our final DreamWorks movie that we have, so it's time to move on to the TV shows. The first Netflix TV show that we have is actually a series premiere called Dewdrop Diaries. Basically, it follows a group of 3-inch tall fairies, or dewdrops, that are living in the big city and helping humans with their day-to-day problems while staying a secret. The first season will drop on July 24th, and what's great is that we already have confirmation that there will be a total of 26 episodes ordered by Netflix. So if the first season doesn't have 26 episodes, then we already have confirmation that a season 2 is going to be happening. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the first season when it releases on Netflix July 24th. Our next show, however, is Gabby's Dollhouse, and surprisingly, we have confirmation that Season 8 is actually going to be released on August 7th, 2023. But sadly, this is our last TV show on Netflix that actually has a release date, so from now on, it's only going to be speculation. But there are more TV shows coming to other streaming services, so stay tuned. We do in fact have confirmation that a couple of shows have been renewed, and that is Go Dog Go Season 4 and Kung Fu Panda The Dragon Knight Season 3. Both of these are going to be released at some point in the fall or maybe even December of 2023. The real issue is, well, we don't have exact dates. We also have confirmation that The Boss Baby Back in the Crib Season 3 is going to release eventually. The bad news is I previously said this was going to be released in the late 2023, but turns out that was just a rumor. The good news is Season 3 is still happening, but we don't actually know when it's going to be released. Our last TV show that I think is gonna get future seasons is Not Quite Narwal, and while we don't in fact have confirmation about there being future seasons, I also think we do, because when this show was ordered, it was ordered to get 26 episodes, and currently there are 27 episodes released on Netflix. The bad news is most of these episodes are only 13 minutes, which basically means they're more like half an episode instead of a full episode. With that in mind, that really only means that we got 14 episodes released in the first season and not 27. So I think that eventually we will get the other 12 episodes that will make this series come to a full 26 at some point, but I'm not expecting it in 2023. I think it's more likely that Season 2 will be released in 2024. And to be honest, I actually am 99% sure that Season 2 is coming eventually. Our last TV show that we have to talk about on Netflix is Team Zenko Go. The first season was released back in was it March of 2022? I don't know. But the second season was released back in August of 2022, and since then, we haven't heard anything about a Season 3. There's no rumor that it's going to be happening. There's no confirmation that the series is ended. To be honest, I think it actually is ended, but they're keeping it quiet, so I wouldn't hold your breath for a Season 3, but at the same time, it's not confirmed to not be happening. And now we move away from the TV shows and instead to the TV specials. And our only TV special that we have confirmation for is The Bad Guys in the Holiday Heist. Just so you know, that is a made-up title that I made up, but we are in fact getting The Bad Guys Christmas special, And I can't wait to see this because, well, the story looks really interesting. It takes place the year before the events of the film. The bad guys are getting ready to celebrate Christmas Day. And it's not because of Christmas itself, but the fact that while everybody is celebrating in their homes, they're pulling off the greatest heist in the century. And they do it every year. But they're forced to change their plans when Christmas gets canceled, and instead of stealing, they do the unthinkable and put their villainous ways aside to help restore holiday cheer by giving to everyone in town. And it's really nice because it's the first time that the bad guys will actually do good. Again, we don't know the release date, we don't know the cast, and we don't even know what the animation style is going to look like, but I doubt it will be as good as the actual film. Moving on, we now come to Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And, well, here's the thing. This is the last time I'm actually going to mention this movie in my upcoming Dreamworks projects because, well, this is a really great movie. And if you haven't seen it already, now is the time to do it. The movie is currently streaming on Peacock, but it is about to leave Peacock on July 10th and come to Netflix July 13th. I know that's kind of a delay, but let's be honest, it's not that much of a delay. So, if you feel like rewatching this movie or just watching it for the first time, then go ahead and watch it. I also left a link to my spoiler-filled review in the comments down below, but seriously, this is a great movie, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Now we come to the bad side of Netflix, which is the fact that most TV shows don't stay there forever. And that unfortunately was the case with Turbo Fast, the Mr. Peabody and Sherman show, and Veggietales in the House. The good news is that while these shows are not available on Netflix, you can still buy them on most digital streaming services like Amazon or Vudu. And while that is really bad news, the even better news is that there is currently no Dreamworks TV shows made by Netflix that have a removal date, which is really great. But with that out of the way, it is now time to move on to the Peacock side of things. Sadly, the only TV show on Peacock that actually has a release date is The Croods Family Tree Season 7, with a release date of July 27th, 2023. Sadly, we don't have a trailer for this yet, but I will leave a link to it down below in the description once it actually is released. Same thing with Dewdrop Diaries. We don't know how many episodes this season will have, but if I had to guess, it's probably 6 or 7, because that's the pattern they've been going with the previous 6 seasons. And, well, here's the thing. I actually believe the show is going to have a total of 2 more seasons, Season 7 and Season 8, with a total of 13 episodes spread across both seasons. This will bring the entire series of The Croods Family Tree to 52 episodes, which is a really great number for a Dreamworks TV show, and usually when they stop. Another TV show which I am 99% sure is renewed for also 2 more seasons is Dragons: The Nine Realms. Despite Season 6 literally just releasing on June 15th, we left off on a cliffhanger, and to be honest, it was kind of expected. But I also believe that eventually we will get a Season 7 and a Season 8 of the Dragons: The Nine Realms, with a total of 13 episodes spread across both seasons. As to when, I'm not sure. The only show on Peacock and Hulu that has yet to that I don't feel confident is getting future seasons is Abominable: The Invisible City. While I do believe that maybe Season 3 is being worked on behind the scenes, it's not really something that I'm sure of. I do believe Season 3 is happening, but at the same time, I'm not sure because it's just, I don't know. Abominable is just at that phase where it's finished its story that it was trying to tell, and now it's just up to viewership as to whether more episodes actually happen. Aside from renewals, we also have new series like Dreamworks' Fright, Fright, Krewe, I don't know how to say it. But apparently a new TV show called Dreamworks Fright Krewe is coming to Peacock and Hulu sometime in the fall of 2023. It stars some misfit teenagers fighting a demonic threat that hasn't been seen for over 200 years. Along with this, we have confirmation that a DreamWorks-owned property, Casper the Friendly Ghost, is getting a live-action series, and it's coming to Peacock. It's not confirmed if it's going to be coming to Hulu, but it is definitely coming to Peacock. The question is when. We don't know if this is coming in 2023, 2024, or even further down the line. What we do know is that it is eventually happening. We don't know anything about the story or the plot of this series, just the fact that it is a live-action series starring Casper the Friendly Ghost. If you want my predictions, I believe both of these shows, because they deal with the concept of horror, are going to be released in October sometime in 2023. But unfortunately, that's just speculation and probably not realistic. Our final TV show coming to Peacock, and not confirmed for Hulu, but it's definitely coming to Peacock, is Megamind's Guide to Defending Your City. We don't know much about this aside from the fact that it will be a sequel to Megamind and will star him trying to learn what it is to be a superhero, while also having a social media vlog about being a superhero. We don't know anything about the cast, and really the only detail we have about it is that it will be released at some point in 2024. So don't expect this series to be released in 2023. We now come to the Apple TV Plus side of things, and the first thing on this list is a brand new series called rbrick, which will be coming to Apple TV Plus sometime. Maybe 2023, maybe 2024, maybe in the future, we don't know. We don't know anything about the cast, but what we do know is that the first season will have a total of 13 episodes. Now, maybe it will be like Doug Unplugs, where that's released over the course of 2 separate days, or maybe it will be released all at once. The only other TV show on Apple TV Plus is Pinecone and Pony, and while there are currently 2 seasons streaming, we don't know when or if Season 3 is coming, but if I had to guess, I would say Season 3 is most likely coming sometime. And with that out of the way, that is every single DreamWorks upcoming project. And now let's do a review. The first project that we have is the Dewdrop Diaries Season 1 premiere on Netflix on July 24th, 2023. Then, 3 days later, we will have the Season 7 premiere of the Crude's Family Tree on Peacock and Hulu on July 27th, 2023. And finally, Gabby's Dollhouse Season 8 will be released on August 7th, 2023. Aside from that, we also have confirmation of movies like Trolls 3 Band Together, which will be released November 17th. This will be followed by Kung Fu Panda 4, which will be released on March 8th, 2024. And finally, the Untitled How to Train Your Dragon live-action movie, which will be released on March 14th, 2025, just 4 days after the 15th year anniversary of the original film. But while we're waiting for those films, be sure to watch Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken as it hits theaters today, or if you really want, just wait till it hits streaming on Peacock in September and Netflix in January. Again, those are estimates, but with that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and what project are you most looking forward to? For me, it's probably Kung Fu Panda 4, but I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video and that you're staying safe out there. Make sure you subscribe so you can keep up to date on all things DreamWorks, including my review on Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, which will be released next week. But until then, bye-bye.
Laser eyes! How do you shut them off? Almost.